This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. I'm Benjamin Windybank.
And I'm Tadeusz.
And today we've got a whole bunch of news for you from Albania, Malta, Slovenia, Lithuania and Sweden.
As well as some Junior Eurovision news from Malta, Georgia, North Macedonia, Estonia, United Kingdom and Ireland.
So with all that being said, I think we're good to go.
This is to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
So our first story this week is national final news once again, as Festivali Këngës, which is Albania's national final, also known as FiK, which usually takes place in the run-up to Christmas or just after Christmas, has had its dates announced, and it's an extra day to what we're used to. It is 4 nights in a row from the 19th of December to the 22nd of December.
Yes, another edition of Albanian long-running and fairly well-established festival is coming for us, where we're going to see an Albanian representative for the upcoming Eurovision 2024. As previously announced, the winner of the festival will once again go to Eurovision. However, this time the winner will be picked by both jury and televote.
So we have the full rundown of all the contestants taking part in Festivali Këngës, and there's a few familiar names there. So competing are
Besa Krasniki, Essentiala,
Eldis Argente, Nesh Kulshim,
Elza Lila with Mars,
Arena and the Elementals, Jeten Nashaj,
Jasmina Hako with T,
Jenhora Ponari with Evol,
Olympia Smailai with Asai,
Sergio Hajani with Iwagan,
Pat Deda with Smunte Pitoi Pati,
Tridochi with Near Enda,
Martina Sereki with Vetemty,
Big Basta and Veseluma with Mibin and Charlie,
Festina Maizini with Melos,
Malret Kokuri with Semendol,
Michela Paluca with Perveten,
Santino de Bartolo with Dua Te Remiti,
Stevie Usher with Askush City,
Plensa Suaj with Picatore,
Casey Tola with Valezoi Medriten,
Castro Zizzo with 2073,
Andy Tanko with Hair Pacher,
Angel Cavacci with Nani,
Alsi Paco with Zliohu,
Bessa Kokathima with Zemren Nadori,
Bledi Kaso with Chdog Giemam Baroi,
Mojiaj Makaku with Nuk Jemine,
Olsi Barita with Une,
Troy Band with Horizonte e Andrade,
Samantha Caravello with Nmaer,
Luan Demishi with Peristecha,
and Sardi Stuga with Bosha Tisur.
So obviously the name which leaps out to us out of all of them is Elsalia Mars, because Elsalia has won Festivali Këngës 3 times and has never gone to Eurovision, but she won most recently last year when Festivali Këngës did not send its winner to the Eurovision Song Contest. Instead, the televote winner went. So, do you think this might finally be her year?
It might be not. It is interesting to see what the televote will say, as so far the jury has gave her their wins. Or maybe we're going to see Casey Tola's return to Eurovision after 13 years. It's been a long time since her last participation, and through this time she has been mostly inactive on Albanian stage. However, from what I've heard, she still ain't quite popular. From Albania we move to Malta, where the national selections are also starting in form of Malta Eurovision Song Contest. This will feature 36 acts, with songs being released 9 per week, starting from the 27th of October.
Yes, we don't have to wait long. Just next week we will start hearing the first national final songs from Malta. There'll be 36 in total, so there's quite a lot to get through. So let's have a look at who we've got.
Kyle George with Arrows,
Matt Black, Banana,
Dan with Barracks,
Christian Adling, Belus,
Miguel Bonello with Better Off Alone,
Dominic Sini with Buisa,
Tia Aquilina with Bloodstream,
Karen Duff with Breaking Bad,
Lisa Gotri with Breath,
Oxygen with Cloudmaker,
Marc Anthony Bartolo with Condition or Friction,
Sopranic with Empire,
Marie Claire with Fading,
Maura Starface with Feather Flight,
Lindsay Pace with Fireproof,
Cosette Bolgenicho with Freefall,
Nathan with Ghost,
Mark Potelli with Just Be,
Ryan Healy with Karma,
Michaela Gala with Let's Talk About Love,
Sara Bonici with Loop,
Janville with Man,
Denise Mertieka with Mara,
Martina Kuchia with Miles Away,
Kurt Kalea with Is Understood,
Maria Christina with Moving On,
Stefan Galea with Numb,
Franklin Kalea with Puppet,
Erba with Sirena,
Jessica Mikulev with Tarja Trin,
Heidi Azzopardi with Tell Me That It's Over,
Elena Gomez Blanco with There's Only Flowers,
Greta Tud with Topic or Blah Blah,
Marina Conte with Venom,
Desiree Gregg with Watch Me,
and Gail Attard with Wildcard. So there's quite a lot there, quite a lot of people, and we're going to be hearing them very, very soon. So we've got a few returning artists there from Eurovision in the past, including Moira Strapface, and she participated with Chris as part of Chris and Moira in 1994 for Malta, and she's coming back as another attempt to try and get back 30 years later.
Kurt Kalea behind This Is the Night from 2012 also returns to compete, as well as Ayana Gomez Blanco on the Junior Eurovision stage in Gliwice in 2019 with We Are More, and also competed in last year's MESC. The early favourite, according to certain observers of Malta's music scene, is however none of them but the band Oxygen, which is said to have a promising style of music. We'll see if they prove true to that promise.
So after their first internal selection after a decade, Slovenia are going back to a national final next year, but it's not EMA, which has been their long-standing national final since the 1990s. No, they've got a brand new national final, Misia Mamu, which will be airing in January 2024, so not very long away.
Yep. And this time Slovenia decides to go with quality over quantity, as despite being a national final, it is set to feature just a few artists, probably 4 of them.
Yes, so it's going to be a very tight race in Slovenia. Hopefully, they'll be looking for getting big-name artists there again in Slovenia and getting another qualification to the grand final.
Another country hoping definitely for qualification for the grand final and maybe more is Lithuania, who also decided to make some changes to the national final format.
Yes, they, like Slovenia, have renamed their national final. It is now Eurovisia.lt, which is essentially going to be very similar to their last national final format, except the in-studio juries are going to be taken away and it's got a new name. But overall, it's going to be quite similar, whereas in Slovenia, it's going to be quite different.
Well, the previous Lithuanian selection, Pat Bandomir now Ujo, has presented us with some very memorable and liked acts. A general level of the pre-selections has been criticized and found disappointing by many Eurovision fans, especially on a technical level. Hopefully, with a change on the title, we're also going to see the improvement on the technical side of Lithuanian attempts.
Yes, it seems like the national final was introduced in 2020 with sort of quite a sarcastic name, which was translated to "Let's try again." Sort of, we know we did bad last year, but let's try again, see if we can finally get something good. And it seems after a few years of fairly good results, they've gone, actually, we don't need that name anymore. We don't need something which puts us down quite a bit. We can have something a bit more, yes, generic, a bit more basic. It's just Eurovision in Lithuanian and then .lt.
Indeed. We hope that Lithuania will surprise us in all the best ways with a new and revamped national final.
So if you're planning to go to Melodifestivalen, that's Sweden's national final, next year, Tickets are on sale on the 6th of November via Live Nation, who are conducting the tour. You can buy tickets for any of the 6 live shows, as well as essentially family shows and jolly shows the afternoon before and the night before to see earlier versions of that if you still want to watch it on TV, or if you can't make the live shows. But availability usually is quite high if you go on the 6th of November onto the Live Nation website. If you are also planning to go to the Eurovision Song Contest 2024 in Malmo, there is a show. Heat 1 is in Malmo, so if you want to do a dry run at the Eurovision Song Contest, if you want to have a look what Malmo Arena's like, have a look what the accommodations like that you might be staying in, if you want to just get the whole experience a few months beforehand, then you can buy tickets on the 6th of November to go to Heat 1 in Malmo.
Now, we're moving to Junior Eurovision, which is in full swing with more and more songs released. In fact, we are just 2 and perhaps 1 song away from the full roster for this year. So let's go one by one through all the songs that have been revealed to us during this past week. The first we're going to talk about today is Maltan entry, Stronger, performed by Yulan Low. This is a song that attempted to be a Tadeusz winner, making quite an impression and falls flat on its face completely. The reason for that is just too safe composition. This is a very upbeat ballad that tries to be cute and building somewhat uplifting. However, we've heard this music 100 times before. It's no longer anything special, and now it just comes off as annoying, if anything else. And that anything else is most likely to be boring.
Let's just say, Yulan Law, I think she's very good. I think she has a very good voice. I think she sells it very well in the video. However, the song itself, I do think, lets it down. It's unfortunately incredibly generic and really doesn't do anything special in any way at all. It's just a fairly stock ballad, and I don't see this doing any better than bottom 5 at the Junior Eurovision Song Contest. It might once again deliver Malta a last place.
So sorry to Yulan Law, but I have to award this song a very disappointed 5 out of 10.
I would actually be slightly harsher, and I would go for 3.5 out of 10. I'm really not impressed by this at all. It's the most generic, basic, stock songwriting you can possibly get. I really don't see this doing very well at all. So the next song we've had released this week is Georgia's song, which is Over the Sky by Anastasia and Renina. I think this is probably good. I just really don't connect with it. I think it's got very strong vocalists, probably very strongly performed, and it'll probably be very strongly staged. It's just not the sort of song for me, and I don't find it anything particularly special. I would give this a 5 out of 10.
Georgia in Junior Eurovision remains Georgia in Junior Eurovision. Divisive but with a distinct identity. This is probably not their strongest attempt, but it's good enough not to hurt that reputation. As for my score, I do still think that this is a bit of a letdown on their side, and too generic of the songs. I score will be a bit harsh, and it's going to be a 5.75 out of 10. The next song we're going to discuss is North Macedonia entry, Kazimi Kazimi Koi, performed by Tamara Grujewska.
while this is certainly good, I think it could get lost in a sea of ballads, possibly. I think the ethnic stuff is strong, and it's a strong, memorable part of it, but I do think the actual composition, the actual melody does lack a memorable hook that, yes, the instrumental does provide, but I think in the actual melody itself, there does need to be something a bit more for this to go all the way.
Tamara and the whole team at North Macedonia, thank you for all this entry. You're all very talented. I'm really happy that you gave me something like this. This is not the kind of music I usually enjoy, but you managed to get through my glass ceiling and give me something I can really appreciate. However, this is at the end of the day just an okay song. And it gets from me an okay song of 6 out of 10.
And I would give this a 5.5 out of 10. It's good, just not great for me.
Our next country is Estonia and their Junior Eurovision entry. Hoiame Kokku, performed by Alana.
I think this is fine, it's good, it's an average, decent ballad. I don't think it's particularly generic like some of the other ones, I just think it's average. So I would give this a 5.75 out of 10, and I do hope this can get a good result because I would like to encourage Estonia to stay at the contest. But I think it's probably going to come bottom 5.
I've learned to respect Estonia for being Estonia, however I also despise whenever Estonia fails to develop on what being Estonia means. And while it's probably a lot of pressure to put at Junior Eurovision entry, this doesn't bring much to the table in this regard. I like the Estonian vibe they brought. Unfortunately, for now they haven't brought much else, and so all I can give Estonian entry is 5.5 out of the M. It's a solid start, however it is not a start that will be remembered for anything else than just it. The beginning of the road. Hopefully the road leads them something much better.
So the final song that has been released this week is the United Kingdom's entry Back to Life by Stand Unique. Very much is the British interpretation of a girl group, so much is 2010 version of girl groups. There's lots of inspiration here from groups like Little Mix, I think, but done with. The song was written by one of the composers of Lose My Head last year, alongside two composers who have quite a good resume of songs, hit songs they have written for popular artists.
This is a song very clearly different in both tone and overall quality from much of the competition. On the other, in its own category, it ended up underdoing a bit. So I think the first score is still a 6 out of 10. It is a song that stands out from the count, but it is a song that could have been much better if the composer just ended up more competent. However, considering the overall quality of the contest, it is easily one of my favorites, currently going at the second place.
So I'm very hopeful, and yeah, I would give this a good solid 7 out of 10. I really like it.
With all entries covered, let's talk about Irish entry, which has not yet been released. We have now got more news coming about it in the form of the songwriters of the entry being revealed.
Yes, for the Irish entry, Aisling, the songwriters are Niall Mooney, Ken McHugh, Will Weeks, Niamh Mooney, and Sophie Lennon.
The last name is probably the most surprising here. Now, I heard some stuff about Sophie Lennon on having a hand in her own songs. However, this time the Junior Eurovision participant helps writing the song for her successor. I wonder how that will turn out.
Yes, and Noah Moody and Kemiku both were also writers on Solas last year. So it's the same team as last year, plus Sophie Lennon, who was the vocalist last year. So I think that gives a very good indication of what Ireland's entry probably will be like genre-wise.
Considering that we don't have a clear favourite in this contest, it may very well turn out that Ireland comes out as a strong competitor right from the start.
Yeah, so we expect to hear the results of their song sometime in the coming week, as this really is the last week for Junior Eurovision songs to be released, alongside Armenia, which is the other song which hasn't been released yet, which we should be hearing very soon.
Now for our final story, we have unfortunately some sad news.
Yes, so Lasse Berghagen, who represented Sweden in 1975 with Jenny, he was the host entry in Stockholm. He has sadly died at the age of 78.
Our best wishes and condolences go to all his family and friends.
Jenny, can't you see the world is yours? Jenny, life has still so much in store.
Thank you for listening to this week's Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. Please remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music, and anywhere else you get your podcasts, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And be ready for our 5 Quickfire Reviews starting on Tuesday and following every day for the rest of the week. Until then, thank you, and keep remembering to vote for the music.
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.